Good morning, everybody. We're on the air, so we'll get started. We have a quorum. We have a number of people who are using Zoom from the board, as well as there are 3 of us board members here in the room. So if anybody wants to speak, please make sure you fill out a card so we can call upon you. You can speak on anything that is not on the agenda during the open forum, and you can speak on things that are on the agenda when we get to those items on the agenda. Okay, I want to welcome you back to the boardroom, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the regular open meeting of the United Laguna Woods Mutual Board of Directors of California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. We are holding a hybrid meeting in the boardroom in a virtual part. We have a quorum, and I guess, Carl, could you do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I think so. I think I remember that.
Please stand.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
Okay, we are on the air, and I acknowledge the media and thank them for putting this together for us and being able to do that. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, or is there any changes to the agenda needed? Please raise your hand if you're on Zoom or anyone in the room. Okay, we will take it by consensus. So, this is the report of the chair. As you probably know, I'll be leaving the board at the end of September to be with my daughter. Until 6 years ago, we had PCM Associate as our management company. Many residents state that they would prefer a professional management company again. A professional management company will charge us at least 10% more per manor extra as their profit. We now have professional managers company, and almost all we now have a professional managers with no overhead. If we hire a professional management company again, most of the staff would not change. We would have a contract with the union for most of the non-managing staff, which is binding, and no matter who manages the village, and thus we would have the same workers. We currently have almost all the same workers as we had when Associa was here. Certainly the operations would look elegant, efficient, and streamlined because we would have no insight at what's going on. Many of you do not remember that there was no oversight of where our money was going. The books were kept in Texas, and we had very little visibility how the money was spent. A few very diligent board members uncovered many discrepancies, which is the principal reason the village voted to go to self-management. I've been on the board for 3 years, half of the span of our experiment of self-management called VMS. With self-management, all the issues are exposed for all to see or learn about. Nothing is hidden. And our bylaws reflect the idea that it is the residents who are ultimately in charge. Each month, the boards are charged with informing the residents which resolutions will be voted on for the following month, so they'll have a chance to have their say. This works well, provided we have the wisdom and foresight to formulate resolutions that will satisfy our needs for many months ahead. This does not help us for near-term situations emerge. So maybe it be necessary to amend our bylaws so that we can become more efficient. As in all things, this is an area where thoughtful resident input would be most encouraged. Our biggest challenge as a board has been to have a majority of the members who remember the oath they signed for civility and courtesy to one another, and to be able to contribute without lies and demagoguery. Thank you very much, and now for the month's considerations. All right, we are ready. Yes, Carl.
I don't believe, did we approve the minutes?
Oh, we didn't approve the minutes, you're right. Okay, thank you. I skip one every time. Is there a motion to approve the minutes, Carl?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion or changes needed? Please let me know. Okay, it's by consensus. Thank you, Carl. Yes, Andre?
I'm glad that we go into VMS, and you have mentioned that nothing's hidden. However, I've been requesting for ticket tracking data. I haven't been able to get anything from it. So
Okay, Andre, please save that for your director's comments, if you would. Thank you, because this is the time for open forum, and we'd love to hear from you in director's comments, please.
So when can I speak that? May I ask?
At director's comments, which is on the agenda. Thank
So
you.
at the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we're ready for the open forum. Grant, would you call the first person forward?
Ellen Leonard.
Hi, good morning. I'm saddened to hear that Sue Margolis will be leaving us. That'll be a great loss to the community. I'm here for a safety issue, and I've written about it and sent in petitions to the board, in particular to the M&C committee, Carl, and to Sue, and asked that a access safety ramp be installed at Laundry Room 74. My story starts 10 years ago when we moved to the community. We decided to move here because there were no stairs. We moved from Redondo Beach, where we had 40 stairs, and it was becoming more and more difficult for myself to navigate those stairs. So my husband and I made an agreement. He would do the laundry. I would put the laundry away. I would do anything to avoid the stairs. For 10 years, he dutifully carried out laundry up and down the stairs. But in November of 2020, two wheels of the basket caught the jagged concrete at the base of the stairs, and my physically fit husband went flying, tearing his hamstring. I provided photos to the board of his injuries and of the stairs and the concrete. 7 months later, my strong, capable husband is now weak and incapable of walking a block or sleeping without pain. Laundry Room 74 is a safety hazard. As I watch the residents carry laundry up and down the stairs, and they struggle. I've tried to get the board to address this issue, but the issue has been stalled in the M&C committee, as Carl had noted to me. I believe that we have to make this safe for our community, for our aging community. What happened next really shocked me. Thousands of dollars in plants and labor was installed around that laundry room. Plants were installed, landscaping was installed, and not correcting the hazard. The benefit of installing a ramp for the safety of our residents is huge. I submitted a signed petition from residents to install a ramp for safety of residents. I was told that that has been tabled. It is best to avoid future legal expenses and reduce the risk, correct the safety issue, and provide safe access to Laundry Room 74, protect the residents from accidents, and protect the village from future legal claims. Make smart decisions. Please approve a petition to make Laundry Room 74 safe access. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input, and we will be considering that again. Thank you. Next, Grant.
Harold Midensi.
Good morning to everybody. Unfortunately, Manny is not here today. I was going to thank him for his presentation yesterday. He said exactly what we feel. VMS worked for us, not us for VMS. Now, everybody speaks wonderful things about VMS. The only thing I know, 11 years ago that I moved in here, we had better services and my fees were lower. So I don't know what anybody of you coming from. I come from my pocket. And I moved here for safety and for everything. Unfortunately, they couldn't let Manny talk yesterday, but he was saying exactly what we think. When Andre got elected, he promised that he was going to make sure that our fees were going to be under control. They are not. So I don't know. I'm not a politician, so I cannot promise something and don't deliver it. So please explain to us in a simple way, why are we better off now when we are complaining about the money? Thank you.
Thank you for your input. And anybody who has any concerns about the budget, I ask you to show up to the meeting on Thursday. We will go line by line through the budget, and we want your input on it because you are going to pay the bills as well as I. Thank you. Okay, next, please.
Jennifer Z.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the new member here. We moved to here last year. So it's the same thing, like he said, we moved here for the safety and for the beautiful village. But when I moved here and until June, last month, middle of the June, somebody coming to almost steal our golf car because the towing company coming without the paper, without the nothing, towed my car. The good thing is we're very good for our neighborhood. So they run into my place to lock my door to tell me somebody tried to towing your car. We already registered everything, but this towing company coming without any paper, just try to towing my car. If they towing my golf car, then without we know, then my golf car will be gone. That's first things. And the second of all, see, I have a very good friend. She doesn't have a car, so she let me park at her space, which is 23A1 2E, that location. These two things I already report to the police and the security. And the first time I park in there, everything's okay. Then after a while, they put on the tape on there. Tape on my car, so I come in here, I say, is something I did wrong? I didn't register or something like that? Because we already did everything. But they say, oh, nobody will be do that. So we just forgive them. Then after a while, we went to Seattle for travel. When we come back, I see people spray the paint on my car. I already will give it to the security and the police too. Then I don't know why they do things like that, and that's making me feel no safe. And plus, when I talk to the police, a lot of people coming around me, they told us a lot of things happening, like people sleeping in the car at our parking lot. So these all kind of things. I just want to report that. Hopefully we got back our safety place. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we will see what we can do about that. Okay, next person.
Pat English.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to say hi to all of you. I'm back after spending a whole year in the grand jury, and I'm hoping that I can get some votes from you people. But one thing I want everyone to know is that as a member of the board, it's vitally important that you do respect your other board members. That's really, really important. You do not get angry with them or anything else like that. And I was on the board for a total of 6 years, 2 years as president, and the rest of the time as treasurer for both United and GRF. And I would like to see things much more civil now, and it has to be civil. If we don't keep things civil, the bottom line is going to be we're going to lose Laguna Woods. Yes, we're going to lose Laguna Woods. And at the same time, I want to thank everybody who's been working on getting this place open. Now we're open and we can do things and we can be good to one another. And I want to be part of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker, I apologize if I say the name incorrectly, but Ms. Azarnia.
Good morning to everybody. I have few questions. After the other speaker talk about their problem, I will be shy to talk about mine because mine is very minor compared to them. Almost 4 years ago, I moved here, and maybe 100 times I called for landscaping. They didn't do their job. They come next time, they says, oh, we are the new supervisor. We have changed, da, da, da. They never did their job. The second thing is when I ask for something to repair or replace in my, for example, bathroom faucet, they put something very, very cheap. It's like in a month gonna be rust and doesn't work. And I'm repeating this again and again. I don't know why they use cheap material. Then for clutter, I call compliance for clutter, they didn't do anything. This is my major things that I want to ask to help me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maxine McIntosh.
Good morning. How wonderful it is to be back in this room, to see all of you in this room where I can see who's speaking. I have no trouble following the meeting. And I heard, out walking, people like to tell me if they feel good about something here or if they're complaining. And I did hear quite a few complaints about how hard it was to track the virtual meetings. And I said, have you thought about how hard it is on the board? They're trying to handle that and to conduct business that way, and they're not giving up. And so we became very aware of that and appreciate it very much. Sorry to hear that Sue is moving. I think she said she's moving to be with her.
No, I'm not moving, but my daughter's having a baby and I'm going to go help her.
Oh, you're not running for the board again? Oh.
Not running for the board again.
Well, Sue, you've done a really good job. You've been good to everyone, patient with all the problems. Thank you so much for serving with all of us. The care during the pandemic of United Mutual, I thought, was excellent. It was just this board and our general manager with his staff that could keep things going the way they needed to. And I felt so safe living here. When we were asked by our weekly presentation by the general manager to please wear masks, everyone when I was out walking, everyone wore the masks. Everyone listened, everyone cared. I think we were kept fully informed that we are in the vulnerable age group. When my husband and I moved here, we were in our 50s. We've seen a lot of years, but now we're in the top half of that age group. And so we really appreciated all the safety measures and all the ability for people to get out and walk daily. And by the way, they haven't stopped. I live right in the middle of Serpentine Walk in that little park there. And I see the people out there, and they're still in large numbers walking, more than I think they ever have since we moved here. And that is wonderful news. And that's due in great part to all of you here today. I do wish to stress that we need benches along Serpentine, and we need the right kind of benches. We need the self-cleaning benches that we have along the streets, along Serpentine Walk. We have a conglomeration of different benches that are not good for the people. The indoor benches that have been put out there fall apart, become rickety very fast. We need the good, strong benches that will last and that will not stay wet for 3 and 4 hours after the sprinklers are turned off. I also wish to mention that several people told me how much, I wish he were here, Manuel Armendariz helped them with different problems that came up. during the pandemic, and they were very grateful for Manuel's help. One little thing, laundry room 70, I still have people at my door complaining the washing machine has not been returned.
3 minutes speaking time has expired.
Beg your pardon?
3 minutes speaking time has expired.
Oh, thank you. Okay. They're waiting patiently for that washing machine to come back so they don't have to impact the other laundry rooms nearby, splitting their laundry up. Thank you all very much.
Next speaker is Elliot Al-Hadef. He will be speaking via Zoom.
We have to move him into a participant from Zoom, and so it takes a few seconds to do that. So that's why we're on hold at the moment. Does he need to hit his speaker or not? Grant? Oh, he's on now. Can you unmute him? Please go ahead, Elliot.
Hello? Are you there?
We got you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Good. Thank you very much. I'm just inquiring whether or not a decision was made regarding the lost certificate. I didn't see it on the agenda. I called yesterday to see whether or not it could be placed there. I'm only here just to find out whether or not a decision was made or the status of my request.
It will be taken up in the closed session. The lawyer has provided us with input, and we will be taking it up in the closed session.
Very good. I appreciate that very much. Will I be informed somehow, either through email or letter?
Absolutely, you will be informed. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. And if I can be of any assistance or answer any questions, believe me, I'm more than happy to be able to help you any way I can.
Thank you very much. We will take you up on it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any more speakers?
That concludes our speakers.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to respond?
I apologize. There is 3 email comments.
Good morning, board. We have 3 comments that have been sent in. The first one is from Renee Brock, Manor 912N. Very short comment. I would like an explanation of the $20 increase you are proposing. Second comment is from Sandra and David Hosey in 84S. We purchased a co-op in Laguna Woods Village in July of 2016, and our dues have already gone up over $100 per month. Raising them again is not a reasonable act. Some residents are on fixed incomes, and increasing the dues again can pose a hardship to those on a tight budget, especially older residents. And third comment is from John Beckett, 364Q. 1 month ago, the board announced that it would authorize management to borrow $6 million from United's reserve fund. The resolution on today's agenda authorizes only $1.3 million. Thanks to the joint efforts of the board and the Financial Services Department, a debt of nearly $5 million has been avoided. It wasn't easy to manage United's finances in 2021. First, the cost of insurance went through the roof, and then United didn't have enough cash to pay the property taxes. I'm grateful to President Sue Margolis for finding the best available solutions to these difficult problems. I'm grateful to First Vice President Manuel Almaderis for bringing United into compliance with the Davis-Sterling Act. I'm grateful to all the directors who voted to protect the money in United's reserve fund. And that is it for your mailed-in comments.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Okay, Jeff, do you want to respond to any of these?
Yes, I'll respond to a couple of them in the fact that we'll do some follow-up with Jennifer with regards to the safety issues and follow up on the towing issue and get better understanding and correction on that. Also with Ms. Zarnia, I hope I pronounced that right, we'll follow up with our security department with regards to her concerns on clutter and that type of activity. So we'll do a follow-up with both of those residents and make sure that they're, with regards to the first one, I'll send that back to the board and the committee with regards to the issue addressing the where you want to head in the way of addressing Helen's comment about the ramp on.
Okay. We will send to the MNC committee the benches problem, the ramp for 74, and I think that's the only ones. We'll take care of that. The situation on the budget, I recommend again and again that we will be going line by line through the mutuals budget on Thursday at 9:30 in this room. If you have any concerns, we'd love to hear them. We are trying to hold the line on it. Remember that there's still insurance to be bought and a number of other things. All the prices of lumber and gas and all of these things that we use here are going through the roof, as you know, when you try to do something in your place. So we're working on it, and we're working very hard to do that. Okay. Carl, would you give an update to the last meeting? What we do is each time we have the forum, we do the answers as we could now, if we can. If we can't, in the next meeting, we will bring the answers to everybody so that you can hear the answers to the problems. So Carl's going to give us the responses for the speakers who spoke at the last meeting.
Well, the only one that Siobhan had provided to me.
Which item are we on? We just finished 7 and 8.
We're on 8 right now. We're on the response to the open forum, 8A. Okay, you want to let's let Carl go and then you can comment if you'd like. Thank you. Carl.
Usually we get the information from VMS, who keeps track of what has happened and what we are going to be doing with regard to that. And the only one that we had from that last meeting was John Beggett, who he stated the same thing he stated at the last meeting. So at this particular point in time, there's not really much to say other than the fact that he was grateful. And according to this particular report I received from Siobhan, is that President Margolis at that point in time said there's no real response required. And he said the same thing he just said this morning.
Okay, thank you. Andre, would you like to comment on any of these?
Yes, about Jennifer's comment about her car got spray paint. I feel very sorry about that. I got the report. She reported, asked me my help. So I suggest that she talk to the security. However, from my understanding, security didn't give, she also reported to the police, okay? From what I understand, security didn't give her any feedback on the issue. So my concern is that seems like things got lost somewhere. We understand we need to see something, say something, but we need to get feedback about something. Otherwise, it doesn't happen anymore. It looks like from residents. So does security have a standard procedure as far as how to respond to any kind of request to make sure that residents are respected and give the feedback from their see something, say something? That's my question.
All right. We will. Jeff Parker has assumed that he will take care of this and get feedback to you and the person who had their cars taken care of. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
My question is, I also reported something, and the response was, we will monitor that. And the result was it happened again, and I don't hear any feedback. So my concern is, are we really monitoring something or just dropped dead from somewhere? we definitely need some feedback.
Okay. We'll need to figure out, as a board, we need to figure out what the feedback loop needs to be, and we need to let them know what we want. So we'll have to work on that as part of our security committee people. Thank you. All right, we're now to Juanita Skillman is going to give us the VMS update.
Good morning, all. For those residents who may not already know, Village Management Services, known commonly as VMS, is a self-owned professional management company for Laguna Woods Village. We are a mutual benefit nonprofit corporation established in 2015 to do the management of Laguna Woods Village. Many of us, it's comprised of a board of directors with 3 appointees from each of Third, United, and GRF. It's my privilege to be one of the appointees from United. Many of us have served on other village boards and have extensive experience in governance process of how VMS serves the village. Members of the VMS Board of Directors regularly provide updates to the mutual, and that's why I'm with you today. First of all, I'd like to announce that we do have a change. In the past, we had our regular open meeting open to directors of the various boards, not the general public, on the third Wednesday of the month, and now it is the first Wednesday of the month. And our closed meeting will now be the third Wednesday of the month, and this was needed because of some room changes and difficulty in getting a place to meet. At these meetings, we have a director of one of the departments give a in-depth report of what's going on with that department. We get a different department every month. This month, for instance, we got a preview of what you all are going to see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week as opposed to with relation to the budget. In June, Kurt Wyman gave us an in-depth report on the landscape committee and what the landscape department is doing. Coming up in August, it will be Chris Langenauer on general services, one of the least understood and most misunderstood departments that I think we have in Laguna Woods Village. It covers a lot, and most people have no idea. So I encourage all of you board members to attend that meeting and get the update on that. And then in September, it will be Brian Gruner on recreation. Now, the past 18 months has been anxious and unsettling, not just for the residents of Laguna Woods, but for people all over the world. We must understand that we are not isolated. How wonderful it would be if the residents of this village became the shining example of unity and positivity as we navigate into the new normal. We do have board elections coming up. We are in the process of those right now. There are 5 open board positions here on United Mutual. Now, it's important that people be informed about what's going on in order to be able to vote intelligently. So if I can have slide 1, please. Some of the ways that you need to find out what's going on is to attend, take time to watch maybe past open board meetings. These are posted on the Laguna Woods website. When you go in, under residents, you'll see board meeting videos, and you can see videos of past board meetings. In slide 2. These are our open meetings. These are meetings that you can go to at any time, and they are all listed under lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings, and then you can click on agenda and download what is going to be talked about, what the agenda is for that meeting. And when it's time for that meeting, you can, if you want to do it by Zoom or look at it at Granicus, you can also do that. So there's no reason why you can't be part of it. If you, hopefully now you'll want to come in person as we are today, but it will still be available virtually as well. Slide 3. We have calendars on the website for all of the boards, all the governance boards, and then individual ones. And if you click on that, it gives you the calendar of what's coming up, what meetings are available, who's meeting when and where, and gives you the access to Zoom, or of course you can always watch it on Granicus. Also, in your Friday e-blast, What's Up in the Village, will also give you an idea of what's coming up in the next week. So if you're not subscribed, please send a request to info@lagunawoodsvillage.com and get on board. Everybody talks about not enough communication, not enough transparency, and yet it's all out there, but you all have to do your part to access it. Slide 4. So with the election coming up, we encourage you to attend or meet the candidates' events for your mutual or GRF. To find out when that's going to be done, again, you look at what's in the village or the calendar, and it will give you the dates that those are going to be broadcast. We've done this to make it easy for the candidates to get their faces out to everybody and information about themselves. And number 4, we record on Village Television the candidate statements, and they will be played throughout probably, I guess, the month of August as we're doing our balloting. And if you watch Village Television, which I hope you do, it's one of our best ways of getting information out to you as residents from VMS. And if you're not subscribed, again, lagunawoodsvillage.com at info. And final slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please go ahead, Andre.
Okay. As far as VMS are concerned, it is really important to improve the communication and transparency, and everybody needs to pay attention, watch those things if you're not present. However, many residents have complained that they cannot see VMS meetings, and it seems like a lot of decisions are made there. So is there any chance that we open up a VMS meeting and allow members to participate or even, or maybe comment on things so they can learn what's happening with VMS? There's a good report, but maybe VMS residents also have questions about issues and they would like to bring it up to the VMS attention. Is it possible to open up a VMS board meetings?
The members of VMS are United, Third, and GRF, and they are available. They can come to the meetings. The residents are not members of VMS, and if they have questions, they should go to their boards, and their boards can ask those questions as members of VMS.
Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, understood. As far as meet the candidates, last week I was trying to attend the meet the
Andre, there's no need to bring that up at this time, thank you. We'll take it up in the closed meeting.
It's not a VMS activity.
Okay, all right. It's not a VMS activity, of course. All right, we'll bring up to the closed meeting. When we don't want to talk about it, it's always in the closed meeting.
You can bring it up in your director's comments as well.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other board member that would like to comment or anything? Okay, we're ready for the CEO report, please.
Madam President, members of the board and the audience, I have 3 things that I wanted to report on. The first was, and comments that have been made previously, is that this is what we call the first round of budget week, and that includes the business plan reviews for the all boards And then moving forward, most importantly, is that GRF, United, and Third will have their independent individual presentations and dialogue Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting with GRF on Wednesday. United, this board will be on Thursday, as indicated previously, at 9:30, and then Third will be on Friday at 9:30. So I just wanted to mention that again. We will be having those in-depth discussions about our budgets and the input that you have. I wanted to indicate to our residents that when we put together a budget, the boards meet and discuss a number of different topics prior to getting to where we will be on Thursday, and that's they have a review of the landscaping budget, the review of the M&C budget, and then with regards to all of the departments that are under the heading of general management to security, those type that are under GRF. GRF has had two previous meetings with regards to their budget to go over all the various department activities, and then it comes together this week with your review of all of that in consideration of the United budget. So that was number one. Number two, I wanted to mention, and it was also said earlier, that you have positions that are going to be open this next year. The nomination period for those positions is opened on June 30th. The nomination period closes on July 30th. So if you're interested in taking out papers, if you're interested in running for the United Board, make sure you contact Cheryl Silva, the corporate secretary, and she can give you all the forms that are necessary. Just to follow up from that, once the nomination period is closed on the 30th, the candidate statements and all of that get approved. The ballots are then mailed out in August. On August 30th, they'll be mailed out, and they're going to be back in a month later, which would be September 30th, and then we open those ballots and get your results at the 1st of October. So it's a lengthy process, but I want to make sure that anybody out there that's interested in the board position, that they get their nominations in by the close at 5 o'clock on July 30th. That's the most important date to begin with. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, and it's, we were hoping that we wouldn't talk about it a whole lot, but I did want to mention that with regards to COVID and the impacts here, we have seen in Orange County a slight spike in COVID numbers. We were below 100 going back into June. Recently, they've averaged over 300 a day. This is caused primarily by the Delta variant that you've heard about. And most importantly, one of the reported elements from the CDC is that 99% of the people who are getting cases of COVID now are people who are haven't been vaccinated. And so the importance is when going into, under the state provisions, when going into restaurants or closed businesses or walking in, if you haven't been vaccinated, it is still the process that people should be wearing masks if they haven't been vaccinated. So just out of courtesy to everybody, this is a self-enforcement here relative to our clubhouses and the community center. We're not checking people's ID at the door. We're not checking to see whether you've been vaccinated, but we do ask that if you haven't been vaccinated, that you are cautious and precautious when out there in the environment, because it's a safety issue for your neighbors and other people that haven't been vaccinated. So kids that are under 12 can't be vaccinated yet. So that's part of the issue that's still out there. And then the final comment I wanted to make with that is with regards to Laguna Woods. And again, I want to make sure everybody knows the stats that we receive from Orange County are for the city of Laguna Woods, not just the village. We're a big part of that. But with regards to that, since June, a month ago, our numbers have gone up slightly from 422 cases to 425 cases, but unfortunately there's been 3 additional fatalities in the community of Laguna Woods since that time. So again, it is important to understand that COVID's not gone away. It's still out there. Be careful, be safe, and follow all the rules and recommendations that are out there. And that's all I have, and I'll turn it over to Siobhan Chen if she has a few things.
Thank you, Jeff. Honorable President, members of the board, I want to provide some updates this morning. In terms of clubhouse reservations, residents may schedule their family gatherings or friend get-togethers at clubhouses 1, 2, 5, or the Village Greens. Reservations are for the period of July 19th through December 31st, 2021. Reservations may be made in the Community Center Recreation Office Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Village Security Department is providing a voluntary bike registration program for community residents. This is to raise bicycle theft awareness and to reduce the number of unrecovered bicycles throughout the village. Why register? If your bike is stolen, security can quickly locate your bike's identifying information and provide it to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. This increases the chance of recovering your bicycle. Any information provided is confidential, and you may email security at chief@vmsinc.org for more information. The Disaster Preparedness Task Force aims to inform and prepare residents for major disasters. The American Red Cross will present an earthquake and flood preparedness webinar on Thursday, August 10th at 10 a.m. Please RSVP to disasterprep@vmsinc.org to reserve your space and receive the Zoom link for the training. I am pleased to announce that normal village library operations have resumed. There is no limitations on the number of residents who can enter the library. Reading area is available to view newspapers and magazines and to use the iPads. Shelves inside the front door contain hardbacks, paperbacks, and DVDs for sale. Residents new to the village are encouraged to attend a virtual new resident orientation session. This helps residents become familiar with the Mutual and to talk to a board member who represents the Mutual. The next orientation sessions for United residents are Wednesday, July 14th at 4:30 p.m. and Friday, August 6th at 9 a.m. Residents must RSVP by emailing Executive Assistant Becky Jackson, and her email address is becky.jackson@vmsinc.org. And lastly, the bulky item pickup for July is Saturday, July 17th. This is a free event. Please remember to notify resident services prior to setting out any items. Their telephone number is 949-597-4600. Place your bulky items near the trash enclosure or at the same location you place your trash bins. Set out the items the night before or no later than 7 a.m. on collection day, which again is Saturday, July 17th. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan and Jeff, both. Okay, we're now on to the consent calendar. There are 3 items on the consent calendar. Azar, do you have something that you'd like to discuss?
Yes, thank you so much. I would like to take 11C, number 2, separately, because I would like to explain that one to the directors here and then make a vote over that. This 11C is on the escrow, and staff acknowledged that one, and is about only $2,300. It's not a huge amount that we cannot get out of the escrow. What is the reason that we have to pay to the agency? I know in the finance, President Margolis says we don't pay, we pay and we get from the residents. Well, I care about residents. So in that case, why anybody should pay to the agency when it is in the escrow and staff acknowledge that one?
Okay, we will vote on, is there any changes to A or B, or can we take them by consent?
No, for the 2, we should make a separate vote.
I understood. I said
on
A and B. We are voting now on A and B. Is there anyone that has an objection to A and B?
And C1.
And C1? Okay.
I move that we approve A, B, and C1.
Is there anybody on Zoom that wants to vote? Yes?
Just a quick question. On the B, The only change is the addition of the member hearing committee, and that's the only change.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
There was an
President,
addition of a
there-
clubhouse.
There are a number of GRF changes that were in here also. Resident Advisory Committee has now been reinstated.
Right.
Business Planning Committee is no longer on the GRF. And if you look, clubhouse facilities renovation is now changed from Clubhouse 1 Committee, and then Diane is now on it. Manuel has been removed from it, or he's taken himself off. And then Kasha Karkar is no longer the alternate on GRF Media and Communication. So there's been a number of changes on this.
There were a number of changes that needed to be made. But the main thing was the adding of a committee.
I second Carl's motion.
Okay. Manuel, go
Director
ahead.
Armendariz has his hand up. Yeah, I'd like to comment on the changes in the committee appointments. No, I did not choose to be removed from that committee. Sue Margolis has taken it upon herself to make whatever changes she thinks she wants to make. I want to make that clear. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. It's not up to the directors.
Okay, you
the way
have,
it should
were
be.
not attending the meetings. That is one of the reasons why.
I have been attending the meetings. I only missed the one after my surgery. That's the only one I missed.
Okay,
The day after my surgery.
all right, I was not, okay.
Yes,
I am
I
quite
will
willing
speak-
to put
excuse
you
me, I have
back
the
on
floor.
that committee. Okay, please,
Oh, you are?
please go back on that committee. We'll make that change back. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
okay. I believe we've passed that. Let's take a vote on C2. How many people are against voting on C2? So let's, oh boy, okay.
May I ask that B is amended, right? We pass on the amended one, not the proposed one here. To add
Okay,
the,
we amended it to put Manuel back on the clubhouse,
okay,
and that's fine with me. I was looking at that I got word that he wasn't attending, and I was concerned about it, but I gather I had no reason to concern. No one told me he was not, he did not tell me he was not going to attend, so I was concerned that we were not having people, and I did not attend because I was not told that he was not attending.
I agree with you. Okay, I just hope that
Yeah.
you verify with the man.
Right. Okay, we're voting
Director,
now
before you
on
make the decision.
11C2.
Madam President?
Yes.
Because we did amend B, do we need to pull it out also and change it to under?
Let's let it
Under,
go.
unfinished
It's
business?
not worth the time.
Okay.
Let's go to 11C2. There was a discussion in the finance meeting about this. I'm going to take a vote. Netta, how do you vote? Do you want it left in or not? Please turn your mic on. There you go.
So it's, I just have a question about it. We wanted to put the lien, but this home is in the escrow. How we can get our money back? You want to put the lien for getting the money back, am I right?
You are correct. They were going to wait 2
Okay,
weeks.
yeah.
Finance told us they were going to wait 2 weeks to see if escrow closed. And that's what before they put the lien on.
No, I just want to know if we are not putting the lien, how we can get the money back.
Yes.
Andre, Neda, you know that as I sold my house, they have to get a clear that there is no money owed to the
Okay,
CMS.
we're going to move it to 13B, and then we'll vote on it as 13B, and we'll do, because it is, we take it out of the consent calendar. Okay, let's go to the unfinished business and put this as 13B. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, 12A. Azar and Diane, has this been done?
Yes.
Diane? Diane Casey, are you here? Thank you.
Yes. No, sometimes I have trouble finding that mute. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I did look at everything. Okay, thank you.
All right.
A question?
Manuel, you're voting? Manuel, go ahead.
Thank you. The only comment I want to make on this, I trust that Czar and Diane have done the proper review. It's just that I have to vote against this until such time as VMS finally has us compliant in the way it should handle the receipt of assessments. And that means at the point that it comes in to the mutual, at the very beginning, those monies that are for refunds go into the reserve bank account. That's still not happening. And until that does happen, and I've told this to Jeff Barker and Steve Horma, I will have to vote against this and keep voicing my concern about when are they going to do that. So my vote on this will be no. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, didn't this happen this month correctly?
We've been working on all of the requests that have been made. I'm not sure that we've addressed every specific one, but
all right.
we
Is there
have made
anyone
progress.
else that wants to vote no on this? Okay, we're moving on to.
I will vote no.
You'll vote no. So we have 2 noes. Is there anyone else? Since it's so difficult to take votes today, we'll just do it this way. All right. So there's 2 noes and 9 yeses.
Is that the right way to do it?
Madam Chair, there are 11 people here, but there's only...
Oh, we're missing Cash, so there's only
missing
8
Cash
yeses.
and Brian, I believe.
Now Brian's on here.
Oh, is Brian on there? Oh, sorry, Brian.
Okay, Cash is not here. All right. Okay, Elsie, you want to go ahead on B?
Yeah, this is, I believe the 28 days has been satisfied, and this was a slight change from Governing Documents Committee of the Occupation Agreement, Article 7. And it was pointed out to us by Director Armendariz that the heading of Article 7, which said subletting prohibited, was misleading. And it was misleading because then the language that came after subletting prohibited explained that you had to have the permission of the corporation to sublet. So the committee agreed, and it got changed to subletting conditionally permitted, to call attention to the fact that the following words that describe how the corporation has to approve. But then also we changed, there was 2 other little tiny differences that were just corrections. We changed in regards to the rents being received by the corporation and then redistributed back to the lessor. We've never done that in the whole history of the village. It was just one of those, so we changed shall to may. We wanted to retain the privilege, and what that's for is if somebody falls in arrears who is subletting their manor, then the corporation can collect the rents to offset the arrearages and return the difference to the owner or to the sublessor. So we changed shall to maybe, and we put prohibited. Conditionally permitted. We removed prohibited. So that was the only change, and that's it. So unless there's any objections, the 28-day period has been satisfied.
All right, is there anybody, Andre?
If I understand it correctly, according to David Sterling law, any change with occupancy agreement needs the approval of the members. And,
As long as it's not just typos, and that's what we're taking care of in this case.
Is that a typo?
Yeah, they were typos.
How can we improve it? Shall is a very strong word. May is a very weak, make it a very weak sentence. So we have other issues that we don't seem to be able to just do it, change the occupancy agreement or ignore the occupancy agreement, not through the, we need to listen to the resident and say, do they have a different opinion on that? Do they have different conditions that may affect the decisions?
With due respect, Director Torn, do you really think the residents want to turn over their rents Do you think the rents, they're going to want them to go directly to the corporation and then
I'm not
have us
saying-
redistribute them to them? This has never been done in the history. It was a mistake. So this is a correction of an error.
Well, you can claim a mistake. What does a resident think?
Okay, we're
I'm
not
not
going to
saying, I'm
argue
not
this.
saying I disagree with that. Okay, I'm not saying I disagree with that. I'm talking about the procedure. Okay,
Grant,
we
put the
cannot
timer
set up
on.
a precedence that we think it's good, then we can do it.
Okay, this board approved this last month.
Right.
And so I'm just reminding you
there's issues
of that.
raised. So if it's approved last time, we have to approve it this
The
time.
issue-
There's 28 days.
No, but the issue was not raised
Okay,
last month.
let's not debate it here.
I agree.
Okay. Are you,
Excuse me,
you've
Phil,
given
may
your
I be
input.
recognized, Phil?
I am getting there,
May I be
Manuel. Just a second here. I'm trying to get the timer. Okay, Manuel would like to speak to this issue. Please go ahead, Manuel.
I totally agree with Elsie. This is strictly a clerical correction. It's an improvement. There will be nothing gained by trying to go to the members. All you would do is incur costs that aren't necessary. I can understand how Andre is concerned about the right procedure, but this is not one of those cases. This is simply a matter of correcting a document that obviously was incorrect and getting us in conformance with Davis Sterling. There's nothing wrong about the way we are doing it, and like Elsie said, it's just correcting a grammatical error that never should have occurred. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a vote on it now.
We have a member comment on this item.
Okay, go ahead.
Mary Stone.
Thank you, Mary.
We discussed this at length at the governing docs meeting, and this is not substantive changes which require the members to vote on it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go. We'll go ahead and take a vote on it. Is there anyone voting against it? Andre, anybody else? The vote is 1 negative and 9 yeses. It passes. Okay, Carl, will you go ahead on the resolution to make permitless alteration policy?
I
Wait,
believe,
what?
10 yeses.
I believe that Brian is going to do, I mean, I don't care. Brian, whatever you want to do. I
You're
mean,
correct. You're
I'm
correct.
gonna-
It's
I don't want
Brian.
to steal his thunder.
Azar,
so-
did you have a comment?
If Carl wants to lead that discussion, that's fine.
No, go ahead.
There is a change.
Go ahead, Azar,
Okay,
did
there
you
is
have
a
a comment
change.
before this?
No, I want to say 1 no and 10 shouldn't be your 11, no?
Cash is not here.
Okay, you are moving on that.
Okay, Brian, go ahead, please.
I put my answer in the chat.
This is to make the temporary like-for-like permitless alteration permanent. And there is a few minor changes.
Okay,
We'll
do
make
you,
the grandfathering that needs to be effective from today. So it should state that there's a 6-month grace period, if you will, for undocumented operations to come under this, that they would be grandfathered in if they are made within 6 months from today. So that date should be in there. And then there was another place where there was a double negative. Perhaps they could fix that one. And Carol might have other changes on this too. But the essence is that it's effective today because we had a temporary implementation, and this is to make the like-for-like permitless alteration permanent. Thank you.
If I just might add, under the grandfathering thing here, on page 5 of 10, for those of them that have the policy itself, after it says categories 1, 2, and 3, the word "the" would be changed to "this," which specifically addresses itself to this particular version of it. And then after the word "approved board resolution," in a parenthetical statement that indicates July 13th, 2021. That's it. And I'll just add to what Brian stated, that this is going to make life easier for people in the community. Some of those nickel-dime things you don't have to go ask permission for, what have you. You just do it. You just provide a photo of the before, the photo of the after, and you fill out a form. You send it into architectural controls, and you're done, as long as you follow the guidelines within this policy. And we're trying to make life a little bit easier for some of these nickel-dime things. And Brian and I were the ones that pushed for this. That's it. So,
Okay.
but please make those changes to the grandfathering. And there was a double negative someplace, and I don't remember exactly where it is, but we'll point that out to Robbie. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to vote on the amended version of this resolution. Is there anyone against it? So by consensus, we have passed this. 10 yeses. Thank you. All right, we're on to new business. Elsie, would you take the motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a motion to introduce a resolution to update the financial requirements for members. I just want to add here that the actual financial, we have to call it this because that's a section of the occupancy agreement that we're talking about. But we weren't looking to change the actual requirements, the income requirements, the asset requirements, et cetera. More of we were more tweaking and perfecting the documentation required. But I would like to turn this over to Pamela Bashline, if I may, Madam Chair.
She is not on.
She's here.
Oh, she's here in person. Wow.
I know. I couldn't find her either.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, and good morning, directors. As Elsie stated, there are just a couple of tweaks to the language in the financial qualification policy. The goal was to not only streamline matters and address certain directors' concerns, but to make the board's intentions more clear to third party to our transactions, the real estate community, and including agents for real estate companies and for escrow officers. So I would direct your attention to pages 2 and 3 of this financial qualification policy. And on page 2, section 3A, the asset requirement, we've added a notation which says, note, applicants who own multiple properties must demonstrate total assets exceeding total mortgage obligations. There are several directors who had concerns about approving buyers who, now that the investment community is able to invest in United Mutual, have multiple real estate assets outside the community, and they have oftentimes high mortgages, and those mortgages exceed your current requirement that someone have the purchase price plus $125,000. They may be able to demonstrate that, but in addition, their credit report shows that they have a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 or more $100,000 mortgage obligation. So this language would let the real estate agents and escrow officers who continually challenge staff, where does it say that this is the board's expectation, that someone have assets in excess of what they owe to other persons. Then I would direct your attention to page 3 of the policy, section 2, item G, where it speaks to annuity funds. We propose to add the words "and retirement accounts" after annuity funds, because there are a number of people who enjoy benefits or will enjoy benefits from CalPERS, CalSTRS, other pension, and we wanted to treat those retirement accounts in the same way that we have treated annuity accounts. That is, If you cannot withdraw it in a lump sum, then that should not be a part of your asset value for calculation of our meeting your requirements. So again, we're looking at adding those 3 words just to make it clearer to real estate agents and to escrow officers. That concludes the proposed changes to the assets language. I would then draw your attention to pages 4 and 5 regarding income requirements. Section A, we have always identified that applicants must provide the most recent federal tax returns. But some directors were concerned that even at this point in 2021, applicants would be submitting tax returns for 2019. A lot of things can change in that year and a half. So we would like to add the language that states if tax returns are not yet filed, or the applicant is filing for an extension, if it's after April 15th, that the last calendar year, if they have not filed for the last calendar year returns, that they must provide a copy of their extension filing request and supporting W-2s and or 1099s for 2020. So giving an example of someone purchasing today, they've not filed for 2020, we would want at this point in the year a copy of their request for an extension, as well as whatever they're going to tell their tax preparer based on their 1099s and their W-2s. And lastly, actually, we don't need to look at page 5. This is all on page 4. Under item 4, following item I, we've added language that says out-of-state employment income and or its continuance after relocating to California must be explained by a letter addressed to the board. So there were several directors who were concerned about people who were purchasing from out of state, and most of their income was related to an employment situation. And there was concern, well, how was that going to translate once they moved to Laguna Woods? Again, because the investment appetite has become quite high, that may be a moot point because they may be subleasing the unit. But this would give the board a better picture of that person's financial position and intentions once they relocate to Southern California. And that concludes my remarks about this proposed change.
Thank you very much, Pamela.
Madam President,
What? Oh, you-
I have a question for Pamela.
Sure, go ahead, Carl.
In this pages 1 through 3 and 7 or whatever, okay, it states, some of those changes are noted in red, and then in other pages, there's no notation to say that they were added or changed. So I'm a bit confused as to why we didn't put them in red. Like on page 4 of 13, that out-of-state thing is in black, yet the 4A, the addition, is in red.
So I'm sorry that occurred. I actually had to go back and look at what I had sent, intending it to be to present it to the board. That's the only way I could find the changes myself.
Yeah, I mean, it
So
was
I-
just a matter of confusion, that's all. I mean, I'm not trying to be a stickler, I'm just saying, just so we understand what's being changed, okay? Because it gives the impression it's only the red items are being changed, but actually there's 2 other items that are not in red that are also being changed, that's all.
I apologize.
No need to apologize, thank you.
Okay, Andre?
Yes, I have a question. Is this the information that we require added here because of its normal mortgage practice, escrow practice, or is it just additionally that we will add, the United Board will add?
I think we're trying to be more transparent to real estate agents and escrow officers because not all board members sign these packets, and the few that do sign them have expressed concerns about what they see in the staff report and whether or not they should approve someone. So we're hoping that with these language changes, it will make it clear to the outside world and give confidence to directors who are signing the packets that indeed they're protecting the financial integrity of your corporation.
I understand the intent of the changes. My question is this a standard mortgage application process, buying process or from the escrow company side, or is this in addition to the standard mortgage process that we add on these requirements?
Andre, it is not, we do not have mortgages for one thing, and what the information we ask for is standard, is available, and easy to give us. It's just that we would have to search for it in the packet, and this way we're telling them to put it in the letter. We get to see it very clearly.
So what you're saying is this is the standard usually?
Yeah, this is
I understand we have a loan, we have a non-mortgage, but it's, from the buyer's point of view.
But this is on their other properties, and we're asking for clarification on their other properties, not our property.
I'm not asking, my question is this
It
the
is
standard
standard
practice
information
of
that is
mortgage
available to
application?
us. We get it, but we would have to search through. We get the information, but we would have to do the computations
Okay,
in this
that
way.
answers my question. I'm not asking a question about why, I'm asking a
No,
question about
yeah.
the standard
It's
practice.
standard practice.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and take the vote on this. Is there anybody against these changes? All righty, moving on. So we're now going to look at 11C2, which is a lien on a site that is in escrow. We were told by the financial people that if the escrow closed in the 2 weeks that it was supposed to, they would not put the lien on, but they were worried that if it fell out of escrow, we would not have a lien. And so is there any other information?
I have an update, if you
Okay,
may.
thank you,
Just
Jeff.
a real quick update. So the buyer package for the escrow has been approved by the board, so that's a good sign. It's moving forward. So what we would do is with this instruction, we would hold off to see that escrow closes. If that escrow closes, then we certainly wouldn't move it forward to the lien office, and we wouldn't move that lien forward. If it falls out of escrow, which obviously is a good sign that it probably won't, since we got a buyer approval by the board, then in that case, obviously, we wouldn't move forward with the lien. But if it dropped out, the purpose of this resolution is to give you the authority to have a lien in case there is no escrow.
Does this satisfy you, Azar? Please go ahead.
No, we should totally remove this one. If it is not fell through in 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually, we have a finance meeting. It can come back to the finance, and then we can go over that one again. At this point, there is no need to put the lien because it is in the escrow, and staff knew about that. I don't know why we should waste this much time of the board meeting, Madam President.
Okay, we're going to take a quick vote. Is there anybody that votes against putting a lien? So you're voting with Azar against putting a lien.
My vote is against.
I know. Your vote is against. Is there anyone else on the board? Andre votes with you. Reza votes with you. There are 3 noes, and the rest are yes. So the lien will only be put on if it falls out of escrow. 7 yeses. Thank you. We'll move on now to committee reports. Azar, you're on with the treasurer's report, please.
Okay. Thank you. Can we have a slide 1? And this is for May.
Getting slide 1 up as fast as they can.
Pardon?
They're moving to get slides up for you. Just a moment, please.
Diane, could could you put your camera off? We're all seeing your hands moving.
Sorry.
Slide 1 is up now, Azara. Please go ahead.
Through the reporting period of May 31, 2021, total revenue for United was $19.1 million compared to expenses of $16.6 million, resulting in net revenue of $2.5 million. Slide 2, please. Finance, as we care a lot about operation. The operating fund without depreciation shows an operating surplus of $1 million through the reporting period. This chart shows how much of revenue went into operation, with almost a little bit more than $14 million coming in from assessment and $561,000 from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditures of $13.5 million without depreciation. Slide 3, please. This chart takes the full income statement and compares those resulting to the budget. We can see that United ended the period better than budget by $3.3 million when combining both operating and reserve savings. Slide 4, please. Okay, this is the chart, and you can see the most significant variance from budget through this chart. The biggest one comes from outside service, $2.6 million, due to timing, and budgets are spread evenly for programs such as building structure, damage restoration, and tree maintenance. The next to that one is employee compensation for $583,000, favorable variance resulting primarily in the departments of M&C and landscape. And the next one is $421,000 in favor of the United by material and supplies, which is in several areas of operation, such as interior components, plumbing, and appliances. Property and sales tax is the next one, with $81,000 favorable variance resulting to lower supplemental property tax than budget. And the last one, which is unfavorable, is $343,000 unfavorable variance due to adverse condition for bond investment during the period reporting of the period. Can we have slide 5, please? This is a pie chart. It's a little bit better to the view to see what's going on here. On this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenue earned by today, which is $624,000, excluding the unrealized loss on available for sale investment. If you include the unrealized loss on investment, non-assessment revenue actually will be $333,000. Revenue is organized by category, starting with our largest revenue, which is fee and charges, which is 40%, and followed by laundry, 18%, investment income, resale, a processing fee, and so forth. Slide 6, please. On this pie chart, we see the expenses to date of $16.6 million, showing that our largest category of expenses are for employee compensation, property and sale tax, followed by utility, insurance, materials, and supplies. outside services, and so forth. And on the upper right corner, you can see a breakout of the utility category. And slide 7, please. On the next slide, we see those same expenses excluding property and sale tax, because property and sale tax collected by VMS from resident and directly be paid to the city. So this is a better version that you can see. 49% is almost 50% of the all revenue goes to the compensation, and the rest of the 50% start with utility, insurance, and material supplies, and go forth. And the next slide, please. Our fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on May 31, 2021 was $656,000. Contribution and investment revenue totaled $300,000, while expenditures came in at $15,000. The reserve fund balance on May 31, 2021 was $21.5 million. Contribution and investment revenue collected total was $4.2 million, while expenditures were $2.9 million. And the next page, please. We compare these to historical fund balances for the past 5 years on this chart, which have averaged $21 million, and you can see that tiny line. We are in the that average, a little bit less than that, but getting close to that. That give you a good understanding of the fund balance. And the last page, we have a slide here to show resale history from 2019 to 2021. Through May 31, 2021, United sales total 165, which is 35 higher than prior year for same time period. That was a good news. The average year-to-date resale price for a United Mutual Manor was $259,000, which is 11,000 higher than prior year for the same time period. And that concludes my report from the finance of month of May. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazar. Brian, would you give the report for the architectural control, please?
Yeah, we had a meeting June 16th. Next one will be July 19th. And at our meeting, we discussed we discussed the like-for-like permit application and also contract paper. Thank you.
The next meeting will be July 19th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom or virtual. Cash is not here. Elsie, are you on the hearing?
I am, Madam Chair, but all that's such confidential information that I don't retain it, and I don't,
Okay, but the meeting, give the last meeting and next meeting, please.
Oh, I could certainly do that. The last members' hearing, the committee met on June 24th, 2021, and the next meeting will be July 21st, 2021, at 9 o'clock in the boardroom and as a virtual meeting. Thank you.
It's going to be continue being virtual.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Oh, it's going to be a hybrid meeting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to say hybrid in future.
Okay, and you can go ahead and give the governing docs, please.
Oh, okay, I can do that too. We met the Governing Docs Review Committee for the United Laguna Woods Mutual, met on Thursday, June 17th at 2021. And actually, some of the results of that meeting have been presented and voted on by the board today regarding the financial requirements tweaking, if you will, for the documentation, as well as the renaming, which was actually from the month before, the renaming that one section to subletting conditionally permitted. We also talked about the status of our committee goals for the year and reviewed it's like a project log only for not compliance exactly, but anyway, it's for governing docs, project log, for want of a better word. And the next meeting will be July 15th, and it'll be a hybrid meeting. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give the report for the Landscape Committee. The committee met on April 8th. We voted to have two trees removed, and we voted down having 6 trees removed. We had a demo of what Arbor Pro does for us, and we discussed one woman's land that had many pots, and it's going to be improved, but she is going to be able to keep her pots. So the next meeting will be July 8th at 1:30, and it will be continue to be virtual meeting. Thank you. Carl, maintenance and construction, please.
Thank you, Madam President. The United M&C Committee met on June 23rd. At that meeting, we addressed a number of issues. One of them was a VMS response to our request to upgrade the United project log so that it contains some additional information, and the committee felt was important for their review. This log has now been updated to provide more comprehensive information regarding the program and project work that is being done around United. It now provides estimated completion dates for those projects that have an end date for this year and the information that will be provided for in future years. It also provides additional budgeting and actual expenditure information that is shown by project and program. The financial reports that you get in our finance meetings do not always outline the budgets and expenditures by project and program. If VMS continues to update this information, this data captures a snapshot in time for each of the larger projects and programs. We also discussed the criteria that VMS is using to determine when a pipe needs to either be epoxy lined or a drain line just needs to be replaced. This is a cost-saving issue. We were assured by VMS that this decision is made more based on economics and time duration required for the completion of work. So we want to make sure that we're getting the biggest bang for our buck, obviously. We also discussed what seemed to be an uptick in water intrusion events caused by plumbing leaks or by plumbing backups due to foreign materials being put down the toilets. With respect to the epoxy lining program, is still ongoing and is being worked to mitigate the problems associated with drain line leaks. However, the backups that are caused by foreign objects being placed in the toilets is still an issue. This is a really dirty subject. We are investigating the possibility of charging everyone a fee to unstop a plugged plumbing drain line, just as if a private plumber had been called to an address in any home outside of Laguna Woods Village. It has been determined that in many instances, a toilet backup resolves itself before the plumbing technician actually arrives at the unit, and as such is a waste of time for the technician. It was pointed out that if the resident had just purchased and used a plunger, as they would have done when they owned their home in another community before they retired, this would resolve a number of these calls and cut down on our costs. The application of a fee for unplugging the lines is being reviewed to cut down on costs, as I mentioned. And if we come out of the committee with this resolution and approve it at a board meeting, then we will assess a nominal fee for this service. And it'll be a nominal fee, but it'll hurt you as much as it hurts us. We are also addressing the cost associated with water intrusion from areas that are not plumbing related. Every time a person sees a stain on their ceiling and it has not rained in weeks or months, VMS in most instances contacts a roofer. We need to stop doing this and triage the problem with our VMS staff and call a roofer when it is actually a roofing problem. To be fair, VMS has been doing this more often since we have started our complaints about this, and they need to continue doing the triage work before sending in an expensive roofer, because as roofers, they charge a substantial more than what our people would be charging. But if it's a roofing problem, obviously it needs to get fixed as a roofing problem. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 23rd at 9:30 a.m., and I believe it's a hybrid meeting, because the last one was a hybrid meeting. Thank you. July. Sorry about that. Yeah, July.
I know it's August 25th.
August.
Meta, do you have a report for communication at all?
For United Communication, we didn't have any meeting, but I did actually the communication through the email with residents. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, and we'll be having the new committee meeting next month, and we'll be putting it on when it occurs. It'll go on the schedule. Okay, GRF, Finance, Azar.
Thank you. GRF had a finance meeting on June 23rd, which reviewed finance report of the month of May. The total income of May was 17.5 million and total expenses was 16.4, which resulting in net revenue of 1.2 million for GRF. GRF also suggested in that meeting for creating some reserve fund, the transfer fee of membership will raise from 5,000 to 7,500. However, there was no discussion on how the expenses could be lowered in different departments. Another discussion was regarding to the bank fee. VMS explained that we will stay with the same bank. No changes at this point. Another discussion was about the surplus of 2020. There was 1.4 million surplus from 2020 operating account that was suggested by VMS that this amount will be transferred to contingency account for GRF. Also, it was a suggestion that the rate of lockers in all clubhouse will raise to $25 annually, and a storage fee from now on will be fixed, a small size 25, medium 50, and total the largest one $100 annually, which will bring 108,250 additional income. That was all discussion. So the next meeting will be August 25th, 2021 at 1:30, and it is virtual. Thank you so much. Or might be hybrid. I know it's definitely virtual, part of that.
Okay, Andre, strategic planning, please.
Yes, GRF Strategic Planning Committee met March 17th.
No, they met June 28th.
June 28th, okay. I wonder this, the display is incorrectly. Okay.
You want me to go ahead and give the report? Two reports were given to us. There was one on the customer service. They're looking at improving the customer service by involving people learning how to use the technology that we have available to us. And there will be training and all kinds of new ways to get people to use the technology. And the second was a look at making a committee, the Clubhouse Committee into a Clubhouse One Committee into a universal Clubhouse Committee to take a look at all the clubhouses at one time to make sure that we understand what we want to do in the 3 to 5 year plan. The next meeting will be August 23rd at 9:30 a.m. Okay.
In addition to that, there are two subcommittees. One of them is a facility subcommittee, which Sue have mentioned. Anybody interested in facility utilization and the changes and the proposals should join us for discussion. And another one is a customer experience subcommittee. We mentioned the improvement of the softwares to improve the customer service experience. And we are looking into other ways to improve our customer service. So that will be another one that if anybody interested in providing suggestions to improve our customer service are welcome to the Strategic Planning Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre. Elsie, CAC.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The regular meeting of the Golden Rain Foundation Community Activities Committee was held on Thursday, July 8th, 2021. There was a discussion of the utilization of the ongoing opening of activities. There was discussed a proposed fee policy amendment for recreation and related services. And Saddleback Emeritus Institute contract update. And the date of the next meeting is Monday, August 16th, 2021 at 9:30 in the morning, and it will be a hybrid meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Manuel Landscape, GRF Landscape.
Thank you, Sue. The last meeting of the GRF Landscape Committee was held on June the 9th, 2021. It was a virtual meeting.
You're getting muted for some reason.
You're mute, Manny.
I thought I was unmuted. Okay, I'll start again. The last meeting was held on June 9th, 2021. At the beginning of the meeting, the chairperson, Horton, commented on how attractive the entrances to the whole community look because of the addition of color plants at the entrances. And I have to admit, that is a big plus. Topic of conversation, of course, was an update on Aliso Creek. And Kurt reported that we are now in conformance with the requirements of the Fish and Wildlife, and that area where the bridge is considered a mitigation area. He stated that yes, they are cutting the cattails down twice a year, but they grow back almost as quickly as they're cut off. A lot of members voiced concern about that, and it was quickly reported that we're limited by what can be done in that area, and they're doing all they can. The question of purchasing credits came up again, and it was made quite clear that that would cost millions of dollars. So there's really no good answer right now for the concerns of various.
Okay, then the next meeting will be August 11th at 1:30 p.m. Carl?
Yeah, First off, thanks, Sue, for pointing out the fact that the August 25th date was on the M&C Committee for United, okay? It wasn't June 23rd or July 23rd or what have you. I had a senior moment there. GRF M&C Committee met on June 9th. At that meeting, we reviewed the project log and discussed where Performing Arts Center renovations stand at this time. The same information was provided in the Village Breeze. A quick overview of this work is as follows. The lobby work is currently in progress. The HVAC units are being built off-site and will be installed shortly. The dining room upgrades are in progress, and the stage curtains have been reconditioned, cleaned, and fireproofed. We then discussed Gate 16 Golf Driving Range Improvement Project. With regard to this The committee still feels that the price tag for this work as proposed is still too high, and we are currently working with VMS to see how we can make the required improvements and repairs with a more reasonable budget. We also discussed the lighting issues in the employee parking lot. This has been an ongoing issue to determine if we really need additional lighting in this parking lot. We then addressed the need to upgrade Building E, located in the warehouse area. This building houses our security force and other technicians. Most in the committee felt that the current building is definitely not unsafe. However, the building is rough and needs some enhancements. The various ways to address those changes is still being discussed, and potential price tag associated with any modification is being debated. This will be addressed further, and a path forward will be developed. In addition, the need for additional filtration in the HVAC systems in the various clubhouses was also addressed. There are many schools of thought regarding the need and the actual merits of such filtration. The addition of HEPA filters would be very expensive and is probably not warranted in a building that is only in use for a short time every day. The addition of UV lights is a possibility, but some feel that the technology is not as good as the HEPA filters. However, the question has been raised that the use of HEPA filters in our building is not warranted due to the building's rate of use, as I mentioned before. This topic will continue to be addressed. Currently, the PAC is supposed to have ionization system installed, which is another technology. However, based on recent information that we have obtained from various technical articles and what have you, this technology is now being questioned by various agencies. So we have asked VMS to ask the contractor to change to the UV lighting technology, which has got a little bit more regimen within the community. VMS has not gotten back to us regarding this request, since the contractor is still building these units off-site. And then the next GRF-M&C committee meeting is scheduled for August 11th at 9:30 a.m., and I believe it'll probably be hybrid also. And then with regard to the Clubhouse 1, which is now called the Clubhouse Facilities Ad Hoc Committee, we met and discussed path forward on July 9th regarding any changes that may be made to Clubhouse 1 as an offshoot of the overall review of all clubhouses. We also addressed the need for a look at the clubhouses in tandem with all the other clubhouses, that is, in a holistic approach. We are realizing that the rebuilding of Clubhouse 1 may be a nice idea, but it has its problems, and the price is one of the major ones. To that end, we have asked VMS to provide us with a usage chart of the clubhouses within Laguna Woods Village and determine if we have a situation where other clubhouses are being underused. We also discussed the possibility of changing our approach to the use of these meeting rooms, where we may be able to make them smaller for small events, then change and set them up for bigger events with petitions and what have you. Internal changes within these buildings may be a more cost-effective way to address the booking of rooms and events. This whole issue is still a work in progress, and the next meeting is scheduled for August 6th at 9:30, and I don't know if that's going to be hybrid or what it is. We haven't been told yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Neda, Media and Communication.
Thank you. The Media and Communication is canceled on June 22, and the next one is going to be on July 19. Thank you.
Thank you. Elsie, Mobility and Vehicles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee met on June 2nd, 2021, and was reported on at a previous board meeting. The next meeting will be August the 4th, 2021 at 1:30, and will be a hybrid meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Reza, would you give us the Security and Community Access report?
I don't have any record of that meeting. It could have been canceled. Thank you.
The next meeting will be August 23rd at 2021 at 1:30. Netta, is there anything on the traffic?
The traffic is held on June 16, and we had 3 traffic violations. Is failure to obey stop sign, and the park on the sidewalk or grass, and the residents, they came and we heard them, and the next meeting is supposed to be on July 21st at 9 o'clock.
Thank you. Diane, disaster preparedness, please.
Yes, the last meeting for disaster preparedness was on May 25th. The next meeting is on 7/27 at 9:30.
Okay, and the Insurance Ad Hoc Committee, we are meeting every other Wednesday with Marsh to work out the best possible insurance policy. We will be discussing it this afternoon in the closed meeting as to what parameters we want to give Marsh as far as insurance is concerned. We are attempting to lower the cost of the insurance by being separate from Third. We are no longer in a fire zone, which makes it much lower cost for us. So it is an advantage, and we will be looking at maybe lowering the amount of insurance we get because we are right now overinsured. The situation is that the deductibles seem to be going up to $100,000, which means we get no money back because we never have a situation where we meet that criteria. So we'll be taking a very close look at this, and I'm hoping. The other thing is that we're looking at requiring every homeowner to have an HO6, and we will be looking at that very closely. There's some arguments pro and con for that, and we'll need to do it, but it would give us a disaster fund if we needed it. So that's what's going on with insurance. And at this time, I'd like to allow each director, if they have anything to say. I'm going to call on you. I'm going to leave Andre for the end so he can have as many minutes as he needs. Netta, do you have anything you want to add?
No, thank you. Great meeting. Thank you so much.
Azar, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, thank you so much. My comment actually was very matched with this picture that we received. There is a raising complaint among residents about some laundry room that doesn't have any ramp. And this causes problem for the people with wheelchair or special needs. I am asking VMS consider the safety of residents as a high priority and make a budget for this matter. President Margolis, in her report to director, said we don't have budget. I am asking, please make priority. Cut some unnecessary expenses for sake of safety of residents. Make ramp for all laundry rooms. After all, this is a 55-plus community. Also, it's 3 weeks after I asked for the water. Still, I am receiving, and I am seeing on my watch that 3 times spring water goes off. So I haven't received any response from VMS what they want to do. Maybe announce whoever they wanted, call VMS so they can go and check it if the system cannot help them. But please make sure that they are doing something. Thank you so much.
Okay, the situation is that VMS will not be the one that puts the safety first. It will have to be the board that puts it into the budget. We make the budget, we make the priorities, so we'll need to look at that on Thursday. This is not a VMS problem, it is a board problem. Thank you. Reza, do you have...
I am asking both.
Reza, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I like to express the same thing I did in President and Vice President meeting. I've had complaint from the residents that the consent section of the alteration is unfair to the residents. It makes the resident responsible for anything contracted us. And we are waiting to see if CO will come an alternative, because that's why they promised to come up with an alternative, and we're waiting to see if when they are going to come out with it. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I just want to say, the like-for-like permitless application is a good example of team working, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane Casey, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Oh, the only thing I'd say is we have some openings coming up. Get involved. Thanks.
Okay. Elsie, anything to add?
I just had a question about number 16B. Did I miss that? Were we supposed to do anything on that? The tree removal request? If not, that's fine. And I don't have anything else to say. I thought maybe we skipped that? Or
16. That's a future agenda.
That is future. That is future.
No, I see that it says future. But it's odd because it says recommend to approve tree removal request, so we're putting that in the future?
That was handled at the last landscape meeting. It will go forward to the next meeting, and we looked at the wall, and it is affecting the wall, so it will be voted on at the next meeting.
So this is just a placeholder.
Placeholder right now.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, Carl.
So I'd just like to make comment on two of the things that were mentioned here today. One has to do with the issue of the poor resident being blamed for something that the contractor has done, and then all of a sudden they foot the full bill. We are looking into this, okay? In fact, this afternoon at the closed session, we will be discussing this with our lawyers. It's not as easy as just saying, yes, make them responsible, because there's some legal issues, Davis Sterling, what have you, okay, that we have to address because of the fact that there are legal issues. So I and a number of people on the architectural committee, including Reza, are all in favor of us basically trying to put the burden on the contractor when he makes the mistakes. And, if this was the way we were going to do business, if we had our way, that's the way it would be. But the lawyers, the laws, and what have you, okay, say something different. So we're going to try to make that happen, but it's not going to be that easy. So just be aware of the fact we're looking into it, and we're very realistically looking into it with our lawyers this afternoon. With regard to the issues of the laundry and the ramps and what have you, I just want to say, okay, that laundry and that ramp, okay, was investigated by our insurance company. It was investigated by OSHA. That not ramp area, okay, meets all the criteria for stairways and what have you, okay? And we did not have a requirement to have ramps in this particular community because it was an active community. We don't have to meet the ADA requirements here in the community. And to put a ramp in that location, there are a number of laundry rooms that have that same design because it was acceptable design, and today, based on OSHA and other things, it's still an acceptable design. But to put an ADA required ramp in that particular location and all the other locations would be in excess of $25,000 per location just to put them in. And at this particular point in time, it does not violate any OSHA or any other requirements, okay? It just happened that this particular individual, and I'm so unfortunate, and I really don't want, he did trip, he did have a particular problem, but it was investigated by our insurance people and the various different adjusters and the various other people, okay, and stated that it meets the criteria that it's supposed to. So just be aware of that. Thank you.
Manuel?
Thank you. Yes, I have several comments. First, I'd like to thank Brian and his committee. It'd be Brian Gilmore, Reza Bastani, Carl Randazzo, and Elsie Eddington for coming up with the idea of the permitless program. That is a big implement. Also, I hope I'm not aligned by stating that I'm sorry to see Brian leaving the board. He has been an excellent member of it. I also want to thank him for support when I was pursuing concerns about noncompliance with Davis Sterling. So Brian, thank you for all your hard work and your committee. The other thing I want to comment on is insurance. Sue earlier made a comment about we're looking at it because we might be overinsured. That's a misnomer. Here's the problem with insurance. The problem with insurance is that every day when you watch on TV or pick up your newspaper, there's some new disaster occurring. There's some new fires I found out about just this morning. And so we're a situation where we don't have any choices really. We're at the mercy of the insurance companies, and it's going to continue until there's less disasters or it becomes more competitive. Right now there's a competition. And as far as insurance, we only took out $425 million last year when the estimated value of our improvements is over $1 billion. I first raised this concern several years ago. But getting back to being over, what is being used now is they're trying to come up with a valuation called maximum probable loss, MPL. And that's the amount of insurance that's being decided to purchase. And I believe the reason they're doing that is because the cost, it has gotten prohibitive. It's difficult to get the coverage that you need from good major insurance companies. And it also is protecting basically the mutual for underinsuring the property. And that is what's happening. The properties are getting underinsured. They're trying to solve this problem by forcing an HO6 policy on every homeowner. That is a major mistake. I won't get into the details on that, but I hope all the directors realize, first of all, we don't have the right or authority to do that. Second, it's not a solution. The solution is to try to find the best coverage we can for the, let's say, optimum amount of coverage at a reasonable price to the community. The last thing I'd like to comment on is some important budget meetings coming up. Tomorrow, GRF has another meeting at 1:30. United has one at 1:30 p.m. boardroom, in this boardroom. United has a board meeting on Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. in this boardroom, and Third has a meeting at 9:30 in the morning in this boardroom. And for all the members out there that are watching this program, I urge you to attend these meetings. I need your support. I do analyses that I set to all the boards that show there is no need to raise assessments. In addition to that, each mutual, because of the pandemic, it's because of the lack of services provided and virtually our amenities not being available to us for over 15 months now. Millions of dollars have been saved, and they are considering utilizing that money as a credit to reduce assessments. This is inconceivable to me. So members, show up at these meetings. I need your support. Thank you.
Some misinformation has been given out by Mr. Andre, and I mean, not Andre, excuse me, Manuel, and I hope you come to the meetings so you can get, not you, I'm sorry, Manuel, and I hope you come to the meetings so that the correct information can be given to you. Thank you. Now I will give you as much time as you need, Andre, because I cut you off twice.
Okay, in your chairman comment, you mentioned that there's nothing hidden. Okay, however, I've identified problems with my workload analysis, particularly in the landscape area, and I have strong suspicion that there's mismanagement there. I want more data to prove that. But so far, VMS has refused to provide me the ticket tracking data for follow-up and the detailed concerns. This is board members has absolute right for any kind of data. That's our data. We need to have data to to make a performance evaluation, see if they are doing the work right. I found the problem, but I'm not allowed to access data. So please don't hide these data from board members, and just provides the rosy picture, and actually there are some hidden mismanagement there. The second question I have is, concern I have is about the quality management. I talked to general manager, and general manager said quality management needs to be approved by the board. Okay, that is a surprise to me. I thought quality management is a sign of professional management, doing the good job, doing the right job. Okay, but the VMS general manager has stated that he needs the approval of the board to perform quality management. And so far, he stated that I am the only one that want quality management. So I'm a little bit confused as far as what is professional performance is if quality management is not honored in their performance. Okay. Third question would be the VMS mentioned the transparency and the communication. VMS is a self-managed corporation. VMS is paid by all members of the community, not just by the mutuals are just the one that funnel the money to VMS. So we need to open up the VMS meeting to share information with, to allow all the members that pay the VMS staff salaries to ask questions, to voice their concerns, rather than through the board. That's more of an indirect way of doing that. Lastly, I want to mention about yesterday GRF budget meeting, all board budget meeting. Manuel Armendariz, Director Armendariz has presented a very strong, convincing document that our operating budget is about a 14% increase, and we reduced the reserve fund to compensate for that 14%. Now, last year when we had extra money saved because of the pandemic, we were told that these monies were saved, has to stay in the reserve fund. They cannot be used as a refund for the resident. Now this year, suddenly they say, well, we don't have to have that much reserve fund. We can have less money than that. So that's not a misinformation. That's a question that board members, their fiduciary responsibility needs to ask and say, why are inconsistent answers given us? And when we want money back, they said, no, you are not allowed to have money back. When they add more operation fund, ask for more money for their operation, the same operation, we haven't changed that much. Okay, and suddenly the money said, the VMS said, we can reduce the reserve fund for that. So that is a big question mark we have as a board to watch your money, and why answers are differently when situations change. When they need the money, they can take money out of the reserve fund. They can reduce the reserve fund. When they need the reserve fund, they said, we cannot refund you the reserve money. So those are my questions. I hope that we'll get some answers on these things. One is nothing hidden, but the data is not given to us. Second is quality management. That should be a sign of professional management. And the transparency of VMS, okay, to allow members, all the residents to join in the discussion, asking questions. And budget fund, I believe Director Armendariz is mistreated, total disrespect to him, and harassed by the GRF board members. Thank you very much.
The meeting is recessed. Thank you.